Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And I know it's been a little bit, but time to do the free-to-play Souka showcase for the Danmachi collab. Souka being my favorite girl from Slime, so I'm glad that she got representation. And I'm also glad that they cosplayed her as Ryu, my favorite girl from Danmachi. So it's a double win for me. I don't really care about you guys, but I enjoy it. So, she is a free-to-play character, obviously. She's not going to be game-breaking and super-duper good, but I can see her being used on some, lower-end teams there where you need a little bit extra power and maybe some orb changing, and you maybe just don't have any other options. I think she's actually going to be good, especially for some of those chamber stages that only let you use free-to-play characters. Her just forever stacking magic attack and pierce if you can find a pierce team, like that's going to be really good. So dungeon crawler, adventurer, and the flashback emissary, single target water alt, cool, fine, whatever. Her first skill, everybody gets magic attack and all the enemies get pierce resistance down. So that's very generic. You do have to bring a character who can pierce to begin with, but if you do, you're going to be looking pretty good. And then the second skill, orb changing only for dungeon crawler characters, does limit her quite heavily in terms of her actual orb change ability, but it is just, at minimum, it's her orbs, right? And then her other skill is mainly the priority for as a free-to-play support character. So I think we've seen her enough on the Danmachi team that I don't want to show the entire run, but I do want to get to a nuke turn and be like, this is how many stacks of Souka we were able to get with her ability, and she's able to orb change, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, we are on turn 8 in Inferno 1 with the full Danmachi team. We've gotten a few stacks of Souka, up enough to get her to the 100 skill cap, and now it's quite expensive, and it's just, it is decent for a free-to-play character. It's not as good as, like, the ice ability, though, with 30% wind and 30% weakness strike. But we can still benefit off of it a little bit. So let's use the ice buff, let's use Ryu's buff, let's use Belle's buff, and then we should have enough points left over to do one stack of Shuna, just for funsy onesies. And we'll take Belle out of here, since we already used his skill. So, Shuna, Hestia, Shuna, Hestia, Souka, Ryu, they all look the same. Alright, so let's do that, and let's do one more stack of Souka. So now, if we look at it, we have all the buffs that we've been stacking with the other characters, but specifically, let's look at Ice and her permanent magic buff, which is 50% right here, which is actually being enhanced by the aerial effects. We've got that, we've got the wind and the wind plus and the attack buff. So we've gotten a little bit. And then if we look at the orc, he's got pierce resistance down now. 6 stacks of that. So actually that's kind of a weird... Oh, right, because we weren't able to stack fully on Ice, because her and Souka being up front maybe didn't make sense for a lot of turns. So we've gotten 4 stacks. Yeah, 4 stacks of the magic attack on Ice, but then we've gotten 6 stacks total of pierce resistance down. 60% pierce resistance down is more than what Fount of Wisdom Albus is doing. It's more than a lot of other characters are doing. And it's a stacking team, so it's not that bad. 675 million damage. Obviously that is coming from the power of a lot of the other buffs, but we cannot discount that Souka did participate in that total damage output, and we even get her ending screen. So, yeah, obviously she works good for her own team. How well does she work outside of that with other magic and maybe pierce-focused characters? Well, let's find out. Okay, let's put her on Divine General. Let's take out Blanc, since she's really not a very good character, unfortunately. And we're going to nuke with Raphael. This is a Pierce-focused team, also a Green Orb team, so we now have the benefit of 1 extra Orb Changer. She's only going to change her own orbs, because no one else on the team is Dungeon Crawler, but it could be better than nothing. And this is a Magic team, and it's a stacking team. And we have multi-skill with Diablo, which means that we can probably get quite a few stacks of magic attack and pierce resistance down. So I feel like this is going to work pretty well. Unfortunately, we are still stuck with the orb change. If we had like 2 dungeon crawlers here, if we had taken out Diablo or something for Shuna, which is probably what I probably could have done, we'd be okay. But let's go ahead and bring Roth in, and then we will use 1, 2, 3, and then we still have enough points to take Gazel out of here. And let's see what changes. Oh, perfect, actually. Gazel's orb isn't even going to be used. And then we can use Souka's magic buff and pierce resistance down. Boom. And so this is another example of where she's going to be super useful as a, less than optimal substitute, but still going to give the team some value. We can use her orb change. We could use her buff, her stacking buff, and we're going to use that right here. So let's do her orb change. That's one less orb I got to worry about with fucking Gazel. And then, do we have enough points to actually do anything with that, though? Maybe I wish we had more Souka orbs. So, 15, that's 50 points. Yeah, we actually don't have enough, so hold on. Alright, here's a better turn. We have a lot of Souka orbs, so let's use her convert. Let's change 2 of them. That leaves us 2 orbs that we can now bring Gazel in for, and then we could use his convert here, and then we could reset with Almizia, and then we'll bring the hero in, and we'll be looking pretty good. The idea is that we're going to nuke with Raphael, but we no longer have an alt swapper here, so it's going to be a bit rough, I guess. But we can still make use of it, especially with the rewind ability, more so than anything else. So let's do that. Now we have a full hand of Divine General. We don't want an alt with Gazel at all, so we'll bring the hero in for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've used her orb change. Useful. We've used 1 stack of her magic and pierce buff. Not super useful, but it will add up eventually, once we have some more points to pull from. And, hey, look at that hand of not fantastic orbs. Okay. So now we got alts that'll take away some of these. So that's a little bit better. So let's take away... Let's use Diablo. Alright, and then let's bring her in for the hero. The hero? Do we do that? Do we dare try to nuke this quicker? I don't know if we'll do 8 million damage in 5 turns or something, so you know what, let's just play it safe. Let's get the hero out. We've got 1 orb for her. Okay, let's do that. Let's do a stack. Boom. Boom. Continually stacking on Raphael, and then we can bring Gazel in. He can convert these other 2 orbs, and we're just going to send some free ults here. Nothing we can really do about it, because we don't have an alt swapper. And then resetting with Gazel means that we can get another stack. Skill points coming from the Divine General orbs is good. And then we've got another stack of Roth here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 158 points. Unfortunately, this is before we had the orb gimmicks where alts acted like greens or something, so we're not going to get the most skill points protection gauge back. But we are going to do more and more damage. Alright, and there's Pierce. Hey, look at that. And then, oh, yeah, look at this hand. What do I see here? Is those only Diablo orbs that can be swapped out? Ooh, look at that. So, let's use his buff, and then we'll simply take him out for Souka, and then we can reset with Almizia. And then you could go one of 2 ways. We could use just a few stacks of Souka here, and then bring the hero in and get the orb change with Gazel. Or we could do Souka's convert here now, which is what I'm going to do. So we have 2 orbs for her, might as well do that. Let's bring the hero in. I should actually use another stack of her buff just for funsy onesies, and then we'll bring the hero in. Yeah, okay. So let's do... You know what? Let's do the rewind. Just for fun. Just for fun, since we already have Gazel up front. And this will give us maybe an extra turn to hopefully get the Raphael EX ult back in line. And then we could nuke turn 6 or turn 7 or something. Maybe we still go to turn 8, but at least we can try and work on getting the EX Raph ult here. Unless he gets literally no orbs, and then it's going to feel really bad. What does the rewind give us? Oof. Okay. Alright. Alright. You're a funny, funny game, you know that? Will we be able to nuke on turn 8 and do 8.5 million damage? I am unsure of that power. But we have a Gazel ult now. Not the greatest thing in the world. But let's continue to stack. I just want to use Gazels again because I want the skill points that we weren't actually getting with the Souka skill, because she's not Divine General. So 1, 2, okay, cool, yep. We're missing all these hits because Ice has the dodge ability. We're already up to 300 skill points, so we're up to the cap again, which is good. We need that Raph ult, though. We need to get more than one friggin' Raph orb every single goddamn turn. Alright, the hero, you're coming out of here. So, let's get you out. Diablo in, we'll use his buff. And then we will bring Souka in, who can change her own orb once again. We can reset with Elmesia. My Discord just got bot spammed. Yeah, cool. Love when that happens. Alright, so magic buff, convert, stack, Gazel stack. So the one Souka orb isn't actually going to give us a lot here, because she's not a Divine General, but it is just one orb, and it's not as bad as what it could be. Okay, so, we really, really need to rush the ult here. So let's do more synergy, more ult, more magic, more pierce resistance down. I'm really hoping this actually does work out for us. I think we kind of have to hold on to Roth now, and we're looking for more orbs for him by turn 8 to get his EX ult. So how much are we doing? 30k on that? Okay, that's fine, I guess. There's a heal. I don't know if we're actually going to get the win here, but the important part is that she is contributing. This is why I always do voiceovers now, because I don't know what to talk about when it's going at normal speed. We don't have Elmesia to reset. Oh no. Okay, well, Gazel convert. And then Diablo in for Souka. Alright, green buff. And then Gazel again. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, there's his EX ult. There we go. So now we just gotta make it one turn with like a full hand of greens, and then we'll be okay. And we'll see if... Oh my god, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Alright, so there's Diablo. That'll take away one of those stupid orbs. Yeah. Look at that shit. So let's take Raph out of here. And then we will full reset with Elmesia. And then we could use Souka's convert, change 2 of her orbs, and maybe a little bit extra pierce resistance down. And then we'll start orb changing with Gazel. And then we'll bring the hero in. And then that'll be a full hand of Divine General right there. So let's do this, and let's take Souka out of here. Yeah, let's do another stack just for funsies onesies, and then she'll come out, and then we can use Gazel one more time. All right, let's see if this works out for us. If it doesn't, well, and unfortunate, we are almost capped out on skill points. Not quite, but almost. But we have had a little bit easier time doing the orb changing because Souka is here, and we have had a couple of turns where we've needed to use hers to convert 2 of her orbs. Broke the barrier. Alright, good. There's a heal. Let's see if Raphael has it in him. And maybe Gazel as well, since we have it. So, Pierce, Synergy, boom, and boom. Raphael will come in. Let's do the green buff as well, just for the multi-skill. Raph will come in for the hero, since she has the most orbs. And then Souka will come in for Diablo. And Space and Dark buff. We don't need to use the Gazel debuff, because that's fairly useless. One more stack of Elmesia, that way we seal her defenses against Synergy. And then we have a few more stacks that we can do here. 1, 2. And then we can take a look at exactly how much magic power and how many stacks we've put on using Souka. And then I think our final stack will just go to Raphael. Okay. So, Raphael has an extra permanent 95% attack. Alright. Which I think is being enhanced by someone else's trait, or someone else's thing. But then we have 110% pierce resistance down. So we've used that skill by a lot. Like a lot. Raphael missed a few stacks because of we had to take him out. But, you know, that's still pretty good. That's still pretty good. So maybe we kill here, maybe we don't. Gazel, 3 million. Actually, hold on. 17 million. Wow. That's actually more than what we did with the Divine General team when I first ran this team, because, like, Blanc did, like, 10 million. I mean, that's pretty good. We took Blanc out, who had the 150 ult damage, right? And the ult swap. We made our team a little bit not as efficient, but instead we almost doubled our damage because of the magic and the pierce down. And that's straight from just bringing Souka. So you know what? That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's try... This clip is pretty long. Let's try one more quick thing. Alright, super quick, story mode, Frieren team. She's on Adventurer. This is the Adventurer team, so she's going to be effective here. And even though we're not bringing, like, a good Pierce unit that's going to activate instantly, like, we did bring Bell. They're both on Adventurer. Bell's Pierce rate doesn't activate till turn 8, and I very highly doubt we're going to get to turn 8 with this team. We can still buff either Fern or Frieren's magic damage, or magic attack, with Souka. And we're gonna... This is a team that has a lot of points. So let's just take Souka out. And let's go ahead and yoink these, and we'll give them to Frieren. Okay, I mean, that works out. We took out Blanc, we took out Stark. Like, we're taking people out of here. 23,000, yeah, I mean, we're not gonna live. But if you need some other kind of damage support and you lack some of the other better options, Souka can do the job. It's not super great, but she can get it done. So even if it's only 10 or 20 or even 30%, it's still better than nothing, which I think is the most important thing. So let's do this, and then that leaves us with 2 blues that are now oranges. We can get the Fern EX ult next turn if we can steal properly with Raphael. Both Bell and Souka are going to do damage here. Maybe we should try and get a Souka ult. We should nuke with Souka here. I should probably reset this and try and nuke with her, because we haven't got her ult in the video yet. Let's do that. Oh, wait, well, that works too. Hold on. That works just as well. So, let's do a magic buff here. Boom. And we're going to have a whole butt ton of Souka orbs. Look at that shit. We don't need to reset. We just need to do this, and then Souka without an EX ult will not do super big damage, but she'll do enough. She will do enough. So 29, 15k right there. I mean, she's water and not light, but she is still on Adventurer. And because this guy just does not have a lot of HP, even Souka will be able to kill him. So 255 points. Let's do 1, 2. Yeah, let's do let's do this. All right, so let's do the synergy power. We'll do another stack of her magic buff, and then we'll use Frieren's alt damage and synergy rate, because the other skill for Fern wouldn't really do too much for Souka, because she's not an EX character. She doesn't have an EX. She doesn't have the ability to do an EX alt. But let's just see and maybe giggle a little bit. Let's turn her alt on, though. And this will be the end of the video. So, 42k. Will she kill? I don't actually know. It's kind of a fun alt, though. Like, for a free-to-play character, I think they went pretty good with her alt here. So, bombs, ninja throwing knives, luminous starlight, and she does how much damage? 435k, almost killed. Almost killed. If we had used another stack of her earlier on turn 2 or something, she would have killed outright. And then Frieren does 766, because she's light. But there we go. Souka. Is she the best thing since sliced bread? No. Is she a capable unit when you need her to be? Yeah, and we definitely saw that during the Divine General run. So overall, I think she's fairly good. She's, again, a free-to-play character, though, so you can't expect the world out of her. But I think she's fairly solid for being free-to-play. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I just glazing her because I love Souka, or do you actually think she's decent? Let me know. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.